Here's a nice bit of obscurity from the Sega CD. Ultraverse Prime. This is based off the Malibu comic of the same name. You've never read the comic? Well, surely you saw the cartoon Ultraverse, right? No? Well, here's the story of Prime. He's really a 13-year-old boy named Kevin Green with the power to change into a superpowered adult. This primordial ooze changes him into Prime, and when his energy runs out, he turns back to Kevin. Not only that, he also has to get out before he dies from suffocation. Back to the game. This was originally going to be on the Super Nintendo, but it was scrapped for some reason, and years later Sony Emersoft decided to bring it back for the Sega CD. Now this game wasn't sold by itself. It was packed in with microcosms from Psygnosis, which is a pretty bland and forgettable shooter. Well, you would think that since it's on the Sega CD that they would enhance the graphics since they do have more space. Nope. Did they add in animated cutscenes? No way. It still has the same Super Nintendo quality style graphics. Now, this game is your standard beat 'em up like Final Fight and Maximum Carnage. The controls are very simple. A is to punch, B is to jump, and C is to kick. And you can change this in the options menu. You can beat up and grab nameless thugs and layer monsters throughout the number of stages. They don't even give the thugs names, they just give them a life bar. Well, at least they didn't do any palette swapping to make the roster bigger. I spoke too soon. It's pretty basic in what you can do in this game, and you'll occasionally find an object you can pick up and throw. The control is good and responsive, but the hit detection is a little suspect. Now, not every stage is walking around. There are stages where you fly and punch things until the end. The hit detection is even worse in these stages since it seems like no matter what you do, you'll always take damage. Now the music and sound. This is a mixture of hilarity and sadness. The music in the stages doesn't seem appropriate for a game where you punch people in the face. While the sound quality of the music is very good, the music itself is puzzling. The composer seems to be uncomfortably in love with flutes and all the stage's themes. Also, the bosses of the game don't even have their own theme, or even a change of music. You won't even realize that you're at the end of a stage until the screen displays the next act. The sound effects are there, well, some of them anyway. They're adequate, but that's about it. Now here's the real kicker, the main theme song to this game. You hear the opening of it in the main menu, but that's just the tip of this iceberg. The song is a little over 7 minutes long. I kid you not. I could rant on for the rest of this review on this song alone and it wouldn't even be enough. This song is comedy gold. The lyrics are oddly homoerotic, and the singer makes it even worse with his warbles and over-enthusiastic emphasis on words that make it lose all seriousness it might have had. The song has 3 solos. 3. First is the obligatory guitar solo, and then you think it's gonna go back to the song. Here comes flutes. I'll let that sink in for a moment. Flutes. And finally we get the synthesizer solo. So after everyone in the band has their solo, we go back to the song and then the fade out. But it's a trick, and there's a final blast of the chorus before ending.
Oh, he's growing so much, so strong. He's gonna get himself some justice. And what will come of those who cross his path?
Now you may be thinking, if the graphics weren't updated, there isn't enough music and sound effects to fill a CD, what's taking up all the space? Well, when you go to the main menu, you find out there's a bonus feature, much like a DVD. There are 15 complete issues of Prime to read, if you really want to do such a thing. But here's the thing, the Sega CD can only really show 64 colors at a time on screen, so the art quality of the comics takes a screaming and flaming nosedive. Now, the writing of these comics is clear, even though it's not that great of quality. Now, that's not the only feature on this disc. You also get interviews with the writers and artists. Since this is the Sega CD, the quality of the video is pretty bad.
It retains the knowledge and the personality and the emotions of the 13-year-old self. He doesn't gain any magical adult wisdom that turns him into an ordinary superhero.
Superhero. A lot of these extremely muscular characters, the artist draw them with larger hands too, larger bones all around. This guy's going to be basically human proportion, except that the muscles are going to be gigantic. So there's going to be kind of a humorous element to it, which really fits the humorous conflict between the outside and the inside of this character.
These interviews last a good 3.5 minutes, even though they feel much longer. So what do we have, people? A generic and abandoned Super Nintendo beat-em-up based off a third-rate superhero that was ported to the Sega CD. Not only that, this was the free game in the value pack that came with an equally boring and bland shooter. It was enhanced by adding DVD-like bonus features and a brand new and hilariously bad 7-minute long theme song. Do I really need to say any more? Even fans of Prime don't deserve this. Well, no comic book fans deserve this, not even Spider-Widow ones. Well, I've said enough for today. Later days.